My name is Cenk Sidar. I'm founder and CEO of Enquire AI. And Enquire AI is a collaborative professional network that enables professionals to learn from each other and also from the AI co-pilot that we have built on top of the proprietary data set that we have on the platform. The first iteration of the platform was more like a two-sided marketplace. So bringing experts and the companies, and we created a tool that facilitated the knowledge and intelligence extraction from the consultants or the experts on a real-time basis. So we have a patented product. There's kind of a Q&A tool that you ask questions and you get real-time answers. So there's a strong AI component embedded in that tool, which is matching. So basically, when you ask a question, or matching algorithm identifies who knows about the specific subject within the group and only assigns the small group of experts for that specific question. That was the first iteration, but of course, AI progressed a lot in the process, and we progressed a lot. We received investment, we invested in R&D, technology. So now we created a tool is basically combining artificial intelligence, human intelligence, and data. So in some cases, we still believe human plays an important role and major role, especially in knowledge industry, because you can't rely on AI or LLMs to make informed decisions. But in our tool now, you have a specific workflow. You learn from human intelligence, but also human intelligence is basically teaching real-time or AI. So in some instances, AI can answer your questions directly if we have the data already in the system. We didn't know how quickly that technology would come up, but we knew that having that proprietary data would help us significantly in the near future.
My name is Dipanwita. I go by D. I'm the CEO and co-founder at Sorcero, next generation customer relationship management for life sciences manufacturers. At Sorcero, we're on a mission to accelerate new drugs to the patients who need them. And the way we do it is we support drug manufacturers, device companies, and diagnostic companies in understanding their customers better and understanding their needs better. So when they have amazing new life-saving products in market, they can target the right people, the right patients, and the right doctors, make sure that they understand how a new product works and why it is relevant to the disease that they're treating, and that they can ease that access through information and better science. So first and foremost, we work with experts. We work with subject matter experts. They're physicians, they're specialists, they've spent 20 plus years studying, practicing medicine. We believe that AI and AI, when deployed well, can do a lot with making data more accessible, more analyzable, can even pull out signals that a human being operating on that data alone might miss because of the sheer volume and complexity of it. But when it comes to decision making itself and how that data applies to patients, we trust the experts. And that's the grounding philosophy of everything we do at Sorcero. When I really think back and I try and find the continuous thread through all of this, it's communication. Everything is an act of effective communication, whether you're trying to get people to understand and deal with climate change, which is a topic I've worked on, or trying to understand gender and gender-related issues, or education, or public health, where I spent a number of years before I started Sorcero. All of this is an effort to make people understand science in ways that make sense to them. And so I wanted to make it easier for people to understand these life-saving treatments, to be able to advocate for them and to know when it's appropriate for them.
I think being in DC, even if you are not a policy person in general, you are kind of hearing all these conversations at dinner parties or, in cocktails or receptions. And then you prepare yourself more for what's coming. And even one element of the political discussion or economic discussion can give you ideas for your business to be more prepared for the future. I can say that from day one, I think we saw more positive aspects of being in DC. We had access to young talent on a very reasonable cost structure. Like we can hire, we can expand the teams, the technology teams and product teams. especially in a very fast pace, because there's a high quality universities and talent base who work at the federal side, but then sometimes they want to make a move to private sector, and is only growing last few years. I think the startup sector and the private sector.
So I came to DC initially as an Atlas Core Fellow. For those who might not know, the Atlas Core Fellow is a State Department fellowship where they bring in civil society leaders from up to 92 different countries to serve as a fellow at different organizations, typically impact organizations, some for-profit and some not-for-profit, for a year to 18 months. My task was a bit different. My fellowship was with Atlas Core itself, and my task was to build up the training program and the skill development program that would support all of the other fellows. So I was a fellow, and also I was supporting the other fellows, and I spent 18 months doing that. And then after I went back to India at the end of my fellowship, DC drew me back a year later. And it's a great place really to build something that has health as its underpinning focus and also has a global mission.
I think DC is probably one of the best 3 locations in the US to start a business. Because if you're also doing something interesting and exciting, it's easier to be kind of differentiated and be in front of high power users and community members. Most of our clients are outside of DC, but we built the technology here, and and I'm looking from the business perspective, from pragmatic way. I think cost is an important perspective. I think DC has a very reasonable cost structure compared to other cities. We have a high quality talent, so that's why I think it's another attraction. But most importantly, the community. I think DC provides all these 3, and I would definitely recommend founders to consider DC.
I think relocating or expanding to DC offers a couple of benefits. One is if you intend to work with anything that's going to interact with policy, it's a great place to be, or where you want to make sure you have a finger on the pulse of whether AI policy is going, or health or financial services, etc. That's one thing to remember. Number 2 is DC is at the confluence of a lot of other places where businesses happen. It's at a really good location where you can get to a lot of other places without losing touch with the nation's capital. I think third, I'll go back to the diversity of talent. For someone with a little more of a global outlook and how I would like Sorcero to be able to affect change in the world, DC has a lot of really great international talent that have meandered through policy, the government, international fellowships, international organizations, and technology. Not to mention that we're close to some very, very good schools.